Hello friends, thank you for being here. This is one of the cards from my first Christmas card class for this season, and this is the Christmas tree card. And what you have in your kit is a card base. I have mine folded in half already. You also have an inside piece, and I added this just because it'll make it easier to write on a lighter colored cardstock. And if you have some holiday stamps in your personal stash, you could also stamp a little tree or an inside greeting on this card. I won't be doing any of that in this video, but you do have that piece. You also have 3 pieces of 3x3 paper. One is cardstock that I ran through the Argyle embossing folder for you. And then 2 pieces of paper from the designer series paper we're using in this card. You also have 2 die cut tree pieces. Some ribbon that, if you remember if you came to one of my classes that I had in person here at my house, I was showing this to you at one point, I think maybe last year at Christmas. This was one of those big rolls of ribbon from Costco. I think they had this same one again this year. But it's a pretty cool one, and I like it because it helps keep a card a little more masculine, I think. And then I also die cut this intricate little piece. And then if you have a word, maybe from the red or the green colors from that piece of word, that strip of word paper that I sent in your packet, this would be great too. So I did pull one from my strip that I'm going to use. So I did also have the same strip, same size strip as you. Everyone's strip is a little different because it's from a big 12x12 sheet of paper. And I went ahead and I fussy cut all my little pieces out, and that one worked well for this card. So what we're using in this card comes from, first of all, from the holiday catalog. I bought the Trimming the Town designer series paper because I thought this would be really useful for making cards where we can't do any stamping. And we're using a couple of the papers from this set on this card, sorry, and there's that word paper where you got a strip for all of these cards that hopefully will be useful for you. And let's see, and I think I might be using some more paper in the other Christmas card class. So this suite also has stamps, if you can see those, house and sort of stamps for like making a scenery card, and then these dies, and I believe the dies do die cut some of the houses on the paper, the designer series paper, but I didn't go for this set. I just got the paper for this holiday. And then so that's the designer series paper we're using, is from that set. And then this tree, I love this tree. This came from last year, and it's still in the annual catalog, and it's called In the Woods, and the dies are on page 181 of the annual catalog. And I think, now I haven't designed all my cards for the second Christmas card class as I'm speaking right now. By the time you see this video, I probably will have them designed, but I think I'm using these other tree dies for a card in that class, but these are the 2 I used to die cut this tree. And there is a coordinating stamp set. It's called Winter Woods. It's really, really beautiful. I love this word stamp here, but not able to use that for the class. So I went and cut these 3x3, and I'm gonna layer them just kind of random on the front of the card. That's my plan, to put them, just have some, it's just to have some fun and visual interest. And then this sort of burlap ribbon is going to go across. I'll probably want this one to come down a little bit more because I want a little bit of that showing at the bottom. This will go across here. My tree is going to go over here, and then I will decorate with this piece and my little word stamp. All right, so that's the idea. I want to talk about this tree stamp for just a minute, or punch. Die cut. So it die cuts the outside, which, you know, even in itself is very pretty. And if you do have the stamp set, you can stamp this matches with this die, so you get lots of texture on that image. But this piece that goes on top, I just love this. So it has all of these little pieces in the die cut. And what I like to do is just kind of go in with my thumbnail and just kind of pop those up so that the card will end up having some dimension to it. And I think that's really fun. If you were really particular, I guess, about having that dimension stay in place, you could actually go in and pop in a little bit of pop dot on some of those when you go to place it onto your tree. Okay, so that's just a little tip. So let's go ahead and start putting this card together. I guess before I do anything, I should make sure I've got a nice crease on this with my bone folder, because I hadn't done that. I had just folded it. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on the back of all these pieces. And like I said, they're just going to go just in different angles, different spots. You could use this backside too if you liked that. That's cute with all the little people in their snow gear. But I'm a stripes girl. I love my stripes. So again, this one I want lower because I do want some of that paper to show beneath the, okay, so I'm a stripes girl. I'm also a dots girl. That is so cute. But this is going to be on the front of my card. But that is really cute paper. Of course, reminds me of Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse. But you could use whatever colors you want. The red dots might have looked cute with the other side of this paper too. Okay, and then this one I want up a little higher. So far so good, right? Pretty easy. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And I'm going to just use my adhesive. You could use tear tape or something a little stronger if you're concerned. And actually, I'm going to make sure I've got some right at the very edge because I don't want it to lift up because it's not wrapping around or anything. It's just going across the front. I just want to make sure. Now, do I have one edge? This one looks pretty. I'm gonna just make it easier on myself. Now I have to cut both ends. There, and then go in here and just trim this extra off. I wanted to make sure that you had enough. Don't want it to be too short. There we go. So got that cut off. And then I'm gonna, next thing is let's put this tree together. So I am gonna just use some of this liquid glue again. I'm not gonna put glue on the parts that are sort of lifted up. So I just wanna get glue around the outside of this tree because I don't want to glue those down flat. Again, just working kind of quickly. And then you can go in on the part that is flat. Okay, that's plenty. And then line this up. And then once you've got that glued down, you can still flip up your little pieces that have been cut through with the die. I just think it's so pretty. Love, love, love it. Get under that one. There we go. That one I couldn't seem to get under. Okay. So, oh, so pretty. And this tree is going to just be off to the side like so. Now I think what I'm going to do, just because of the thickness here, is I think I might put some pop dots behind the top, but then some tear tape. So just part way down. Some dimensionals, and then there's my tear tape. I think the tear tape will do well on top of the ribbon. And just that dimension of the ribbon, if I did flat adhesive at the top of this tree, it might look a little funny. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. I haven't actually made this card. I just kind of had it designed in my head and with the pieces, and I'm putting it together for the first time on this video. So, you know, we're not quite sure how things are going to turn out. All right, so this is where I want my tree. Yeah, I think that worked out well with the pop dots on the top, under the top of it. There we go. And I just, like I said, I just love that dimension. And if you're concerned, if it's going in the mail and you're concerned about it, you could put a little bit of mounting tape behind some of these larger pieces, and then for sure they won't move. Okay, and then the last part is to put on this little decorative piece. And I think I'm going to slip it under the tree. And here's why. Because I'm not sure how I'm going to get it to stick down. I'm going to use a little bit of glue, but that's still going to be a bit challenging. So I will put a glue dot on the one end, and I know that way that part will stick. And I'm not worried about the glue dot poking through because it's going to be under the tree. And then I think I'll use this just because it's easy, even though this is really thin and don't really want that white glue to show through. So what I'm doing is putting a little glue on and then trying to spread it out with the tip so that I don't have very much, because I really don't want a bunch of it like squeezing out onto my project. Okay, so just getting a little bit of glue on there. This is the end that has my glue dot, so that's the piece that's going to tuck in under the tree. Right about there. And back in there, it's going to stay down. Okay, and then I picked this Season's Greetings. Was one of the ones that was on my strip, and I thought that would look nice on here. And let's see, I think I'm going to go with glue. I think this liquid glue is going to be my best bet. You know, I was never a liquid glue girl. Always dry adhesive was always my go-to. But this, I have to say, this has been a bit of a life changer for me. I really like that particular glue. And then I think I want it sort of being a little bit anchored onto this. And then I'm just going to hold it in place and make sure it gets a nice, nice grip. And there we go. And there's your card. And I love this card because I just feel it can easily be a little bit more masculine. And so if you're sending this to a family or just, you know, a guy friend or even a girlfriend who's really outdoorsy and not into like pinks and flowers as much as I am, I think this makes a really great card. So, and really pretty simple. As I was mentioning in one of the other videos, if you're creating a bunch of Christmas cards to send out, if you like to design like 1 or 2 cards and then make multiples of them, this one's pretty fast when you're cutting those 3x3 squares. That goes pretty fast, and really the most work was this this tree. And if you didn't have a cute decorative die like this, you could even just use another piece of ribbon, or what would look really nice with this particular ribbon on here would just be some twine that you run all the way through the inside of the card, and you could just tie a nice little bow or half bow, you know, with your twine here. So that would be a nice thing that would add some visual interest if you don't have that die. So anyway, thank you.